So students, today we're going to start with the next chapter of your book, that is The Treasure Within. And if you remember, the other day we had just done a little introduction. That is, we all have a lot of talent. We all have some kind of passion within us. But, like our education system has put many barriers which does not allow us to pursue our interest, right? So someone might be good in languages, might not be good in drawing. Someone might be good in sciences, might not be good in, like painting, right? So we should not divide this, or it should not be that, because you're not good in something, you will not become successful, right? And every child, yes, Agam and Shireen, what do you want to say? Yes, beautifully, Pearl has written that we should chase our passion and not for our pension. Very nice. Yes. So, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? So we should, yes, continue with our hard work and our efforts. And yes, because marks at the end of the day do not decide, or it does not decide that how successful you are going to be. We're going to read about this, a story about Hafiz contractor. He was not good in school. He was not good in his studies. In fact, he did not score very well. But later on in life, he found a passion. He found something that he was very interested in. And because he was so interested in that, he was able to perform so well. He was able to get good marks in that subject, right? So once again here, you have to do so many subjects. It's not necessarily that you can be perfect in all of them, right? So we have one subject that we are very good at and something that we are not. And of course, in life, it is not always marks that decide. Sometimes it is not about money. It is about happiness also. Are you happy doing what you're doing? Is it giving you satisfaction? Is it giving you contentment? So as I said, success is different for everyone. Success is not necessarily earning a lot of money and wealth and fame, right? Success is different for everyone, right? Some people feel that success is there or happiness is there, even if they have got a good education, they feel that my happiness is helping others, right? I want to work for others. And it might not be something very high paying, but the satisfaction that they get at the end of the day, I help people, I'm helping society, right? Then there are people, yes, they might have worked so hard and they've earned a lot, and then they realize, no, I can't go on with this life. What about my own life, right? Then they leave everything and then they come back, maybe to their roots, to their village, to their city. And yes, they start doing things that they want to, right? So it is there once again. Our success is not to be determined by what others think. We are to decide what is it that we want to do in life, right? Yes, it takes a lot of courage. It's so easy to say this, but it takes a lot of courage, to be successful or to break what a society thinks about. So in these past couple of days, we've been watching, Olympics and hockey and all, and we're so proud of, see the girls who are there coming from very humble background because they had that passion, because they wanted to, and they participated and they carried on. One thing led to another. And here they are. They have reached, they're representing our country at the international level, and we know them now. They have got so much of recognition, isn't it? So once again, not many of them even got a good basic education, right? So it is here once again, it is passion, things that really drive you, so things that really interest you, okay? So this chapter here, yes, I think you've all seen the movie Tare Zameen Par. Have you seen the movie? Yes. You haven't seen it? Okay, if you haven't, yes, success is there. Of course, you have to work hard for getting success. So you've seen the movie. And of course, do we really empathize with that little boy over there in the movie? Yes. And how he had a problem learning, and how, like, people were not able to understand him because the comparison was there, because his brother was so smart. Yes. And he was not doing well. So that comparison, and yes, the school system not understanding. And how did his life change when someone came who understood him? Right? So we need that someone. And yes, you can be that someone to yourself. You can find someone who's going to understand you. Right? So once again, we all have some kind of, not everybody, yes, like, oh, it's like, like in the race, some people are able to run very fast. Some people take time. But eventually they reach the finishing line. So let's not make it a race. Eventually we are going to reach that finish line, depending how, yes, strong we are or how fast we are. And of course, as they say, slow and steady wins the race. Okay. So finally, let us look at this chapter. And it's a very nice story here. So every child is a potential achiever and is different from other children in his or her style of learning and area of interest. Now read the interview. This is an interview. And what is an interview? You're asking questions like, yes, it could be a famous personality. You want to know about their lives, how they achieve success, what are their hobbies, what are their interests, right? And do you like to watch interviews, reading interviews about people you like, about celebrities? Yes. So here, this is an interview about that person. Hafiz, a contractor, was an unhappy schoolboy. He loved doing things but detested mechanical learning. He wanted to learn at his own speed, right? Don't force me to do this. Mathematics gave him the shivers. What is shivers? You're shivering, he's scared. So there are people, yeah, they are scared of mathematics when big numbers come there in front of them. What his principal once said to him influenced him deeply. So, the power of our words. When we say something, sometimes they have a very good effect. Sometimes we end up hurting others. So we have to be very, very careful about what we say, right? And everyone has their own pace of learning and growing and understanding. So Hafiz is going to tell us about his life, right? And who is he giving this conversation? Who is he giving this interview to? Mrs. Bela Raja. She is the editor of Sparsh, a newsletter from the Resource Center, the Valley School, Bangalore, and Mr. Hafiz Contractor, one of India's leading architects. What does an architect do? What does an architect do? Yes, designs buildings. Yes. And do you think, yes, so if you want an architect to design your house, are you only going to talk about the building, or is he going to ask things about your personal interests also that should be there in the house? Yes. So is architecture only about buildings only? Is it? No, it's not only about buildings. Who's going to use it? Who's going to live there? How many family members are there? What would you like in your home? Isn't it? All these things the architect would want to know. I used to have this terrible nightmare. Only now, over the last 4 to 5 years, it seems to have disappeared. So HC is, who is HC? Hafiz Contractor. Who is BR? Bela Raja. Okay, yes. So, right, so we are going to see this here. What do you think could have been here? What nightmare are you talking about, and why do you think it has disappeared now? What is a nightmare? What's a nightmare? Yes, like a bad dream. Yes, a nightmare. You wake up in the middle of the night when you have a bad dream. So that's a nightmare. I used to get continuous has nightmares about appearing for a maths examination where I did not know anything. Now the psyche must have gotten over it. So before the exams, do you also get the dreams? Oh my God, I won't be able to complete my paper. I can't find my pen. I can't find my roll number. Is it? Do you get such kind of dreams before the exam? Because you're so stressed also about it, right? But when the dream happens again and again and here, and it does not allow you to sleep and it, like kind of affects you, then it is something quite, I would say, serious, right? So sometimes when we're stressed also, we have these bad dreams. I used to get continuous nightmares about appearing for a maths examination where I did not know anything. Now the psyche must have gotten over it. Psyche is mind, because it's been a long time since he gave a maths exam. I don't have to think about education and there's absolutely no time to get nightmares. So now I'm not worried about my education. I am, of course, working and successful. So I don't have to worry about the maths exam, right? And there is absolutely no time because you're so tired by the end of the day. And generally, of course, it is there when you are very relaxed and you have a sound sleep, then nightmares don't come to disturb you. Tell us something about your earliest memories in school. In the first and second year, I was a good student. After I reached the third standard, I simply lost interest and I never studied. So how older do you think the child is when they're in the third standard? Yeah, so you're like 7 to 8 years old, right? And you, at that age, you lose interest in studies. It's a big thing to happen. Yes, right? And in third standard, you don't want to study more. I used to be interested in games, running around, playing, yes, jokes and pranks on others. And do we like such students in the class? Do you think the teacher is going to be happy with such a student in the class who's just busy in sports and playing and jumping around and not studying? No, right? I would copy in class during exam times. Big confession he has made. Can we say that? If I ask you, no, ma'am, I did my work myself, even though ma'am knows how you did your work. So he's confessing. Confess means to tell the truth. I would copy in class during exam times. I would try to get hold of the examination paper that had been prepared and study it, as I could not remember things that had been taught to me in class. So is it a nice thing he's telling? I'm so happy telling it. Of course, I was not good in studies, could not remember anything. I copied and I would even get hold of the question paper if I could. So you don't even think about it, okay? Right? I could not remember things that had been taught to me in class. So many things taught to him. However, later one sentence spoken to be by my principal changed my life. When I approached my 11th standard, the principal called me and said, "Look here, son, I have been seeing you from day one. You are a good student, but you have never studied. I have taken care of you till today. Now I can no longer take care of you, so you do it yourself. Till now, I've been taking care of you, making sure that, okay, you passed and you were sent to the next class. Now you're in class 11. I can't take care of you anymore. So you decide what you want to do with your life." He talked to me for 5 minutes. You don't have your father. Your mother has worked so hard to bring you up and paid all your fee all these years, but you have only played games. Now you should rise to the occasion and study. Do you think he was grateful for all the things that his mother did? She's working so hard, and what did he do in school? Did he study? No. Was he honest during the exams? No. He cheated. He copied. He was not at all serious. I used to be a very good sportsman. I had been the champion for so many years, and I also was a cricket captain. See, he was not good in studies, but he was good in sports. I used to play every game, but that year I did not step out onto the field because the principal, what he said to him, really affected him. He stopped going out to play. What do you think he did instead? Did he study? Let's see. I would go for prayers and all I would do was eat and study. So it's changed him. So what the words the principal said really had an effect on him. I normally used to copy and pass, but I realized that once I was in SSC, I could not do that. So in the senior secondary classes, like when you're 11th and 12th, you can't do that. How are you going to copy for the board exam? Right? How are you going to copy for the higher classes? Where are you going to get the question paper? So he realized, no, now I'll have to study. So big change happened to him. When I got a second class, 50% in my SSC, my principal said, son, consider yourself as having got a distinction. This is my memory of my school days. Now, second class, 50%. What is this? Earlier times, like it was getting above 60% was a first class, right? 50% and above was a second class. Getting above 75% was a distinction. And studies, I would say, they were quite different from what you're doing nowadays. There were not so many projects and not so many multiple choice questions. The syllabus was also not reduced. So and considering this child had never been serious about his studies. So what did the teacher say? You've got 50%, but you take it as a distinction that you have got above 75%, right? Considering how much improvement you have shown. Earlier, you never used to study, but now you have studied. So like that also, like improvement here, when we are there studying, when we have our exams. So in the last exam, if you got 35 and the next you got 42, that is an improvement. From 35, if you want to jump up to 50, maybe you are asking yourself too much. But even if you are able to, so little things show improvement. So maybe a child who would get 15 has got 22. That is also big improvement, right? So child who is unable to pass, but getting pass marks, right? That is also an improvement, okay? So the teachers say, for me, it is a distinction, and you should also think that it's a distinction. You were a big what? 0, you never studied. Whatever marks you got were copying and cheating. Now this is your hard work, right? So a child will be motivated or not? Yes. I did lots of other things. See, as far as my things are concerned, I can't remember. I forget things very easily. So he says there are many other memories of his school days, but I can't remember so many of them. To remember, I have to see things as a photograph. I read a book and I can remember the matter as a photograph, but not through my mind. That is how it works. So just like a picture is there in front of you. When you look at the picture, what does it show you? What does it show you? The picture? A person, a place, and you're able to remember. So like that, he's saying, I remember things, like, of course, when someone shows me, I remember it. But if you ask me to recollect things, it's very difficult for me. All these little details, okay? Right, so that is how it works. Now, BR, who is BR? Bela Raja, very nice. And so yes, he cheated, of course, yeah. When you were in school and you were doing badly, did the teachers pull you up and how did you feel? Pull you up means, did they scold you? How did you feel? I never felt anything on being pulled up. I used to be so interested in playing. I would receive a caning every week. What's a caning? Stick. Does it happen now? So can you imagine in the earlier days how difficult it must have been? Teacher with a cane. You don't listen, you get that also. Yeah, lots of punishment also, right? So are you happy now? So do you think it's a good time to study nowadays? Yes. Or the way your parents, they studied, that was good. This is better. Yeah, teachers don't say anything, right? When you knew you had incurred the wrath of your teacher. Incurred the wrath. Wrath is anger. When you made your teacher angry, are you writing the meaning in the book? Please don't scribble on your book. Use a pencil if you have to. When you knew that you had incurred the wrath of your teacher by not doing your homework or behaving badly, when you knew you would get a caning, what was the state of your mind? Would you feel like going to school? Would you feel scared in the class? Yes. Now let's see what he says. State of mind, just lift up the hand and they would cane you. It would hurt badly. And then I would have to forget about it because I would want to go and play. So he was, what kind of a person do you think he was? He was very casual? Or was he a sensitive person? No. So he said, I would just put out my hand, the teacher would cane me. After that, I would just go outside and play because he was more interested in playing than in studies, right? He was more interested. Yes. You never felt insecure or threatened? Insecure means not safe. Threatened, that pressure on you, right? If someone is there trying to scare you, bully you into studying, right? I was just interested in playing and nothing else. I was most interested in funny pranks. What are pranks? Jokes. Yeah, making fun of others and doing this mischief here. One day I did not want to study, so I created a distraction. For one whole hour, we played Chor Police. So imagine, do you think the other students must have liked it? Yes, they would have enjoyed it too. They did not want to study. So what did he do? He created a distraction, right? To, so the teacher would not focus on the class, and then they played Chor Police. Every Saturday, we were allowed to go into town to see a movie. So what would I do was have no lunch and collect money from 40 to 50 students and run and buy the tickets. On my way back, I would eat to my heart's content. So yeah, so you would collect money from the students and they would all go to watch the movie. So buy the tickets and from the remaining money, he would have a nice meal for himself. I used to be the leader of a gang. What's a gang? Group of people, yes. We would have gang fights and plan strategies. So he was leader of one gang and there were other gangs also. And those gangs would have fights. And they would plan strategies, how to fight with them, how to be stronger, how to stay away from them, right? Yes. These things used to interest me more than academics. And so he was more interested in all this than academics and his books and then his studies. Do you think he had a nice life? Yeah, he enjoyed his life. Yes, he did. Definitely. He was not worried about anybody. So he did what he wanted to do. Students used to book my textbooks for the following year because they were almost brand new. He never opened them. Never wrote anything. So they used to say, give me a book because the book is new. I probably opened them one day before exams. Anybody who does that nowadays? Is there anyone whose books are as good as new? No? But even if we are using our books regularly, we still take good care of them. Yes? Just because we're studying doesn't mean we tear out the pages and spoil our books. No, even then we take good care of them. Yeah, we do write the answers. We write important things that we need to remember. Okay. So what do you think about Hafiz till now? So from an interview, we're able to gather information about the personality of a person. So what do we learn about Hafiz Contractor? Do we like him? Even though he's naughty, he's breaking all the rules, he's a prankster. Do we like him? Wow, what bravery. And see, he's talking about that in an interview. He's telling everybody, in my school days, I was like this. I did not study, right? Nowadays, oh my God, parents would get panicked if a child does not study, if a child behaved like that, right? Yes? And of course, look at him. Yeah, very brave person he is. So what did Hafiz contractor have nightmares about? You can write the answers here on the book only directly. What did he have nightmares about? Yes, about his mathematics. He could not write anything. He could not find the answers. What did the principal say to him which influenced him deeply? What did the principal say? That, yeah, I have been saving you. And now you have to take care of yourself, right? Yes. And he reminded him that how hard his mother is working so that he can continue with his studies, right? That year, I did not step out into the field. What was he busy doing? He just went for prayers, and then he would study, and then he would have his meals. That means he could study if he wanted to, right? So do you think he was just not putting in too much of efforts? Otherwise, if he had paid much attention to his studies regularly, he would have done very well, right? So it was that he was more interested in other things than in studies. What distraction did Hafiz contractor create one day? So he created some distraction in the class when the teacher and they played Chor Police. Okay. Would you like that to happen in your class? Yes? How do you feel when the teacher is late to the class? Or you get a free period? Or more importantly, you get a games period? That's the best day, isn't it? That's the best feeling ever. The teacher is not here and you can go for games, isn't it? Right. So would you have liked to participate in the distractions had you been with him? Would you have said, no, let's study. Why are you disturbing the class? Or you said, yeah, let's play. What have you said? Yes? Nothing. Let's be honest. I know what you would have said, but you don't want to say it. What is it you would have loved to do? Play, of course, given an opportunity. We all love to play and stay away from our books, isn't it? And it's such happiness that you would get, isn't it? So you would have, or would you have been a very, you can say, an ideal student and don't disturb the class. You're creating distractions. Pick up your books and let's study. Or would have complained, he did that. Who does that in the class? Who does that in the class? Ma'am, he was talking. And he took my notebook and if I say, who's this creating disturbance? Ma'am, he was creating disturbance. Who's that? The most honest person in your class? We have, okay, that's nice. So these are the lighter moments. You know, this is the fun of learning together, and these are the lighter moments in school. But secretly, you're very happy that person is creating noise. We're getting some kind of distraction and the teacher is not teaching us, isn't it? Right? And do you sometimes wish, oh, I wish I could be as brave as that child? Do you? Yes. Right? So it does take a lot of courage, you know, to be constantly pointed out by your teachers and by everyone. You're not studying, right? And get a beating also. Very difficult. But look at him, he's so brave, right? So where is the treasure? We haven't yet discovered the treasure. Let's see when we're going to read about this treasure, about this talent, about the discovery of that talent that he had. Okay, right? So it's a nice interview. Yes, it's a nice interview. Yes, it is. Okay.